All right, so this was the practice exam that I passed out and wanted to make sure that we went through it together. So we have this athlete pulling this heavy load across a horizontal surface. Rough horizontal surface. Whenever you see that in any physics class, IB or otherwise, that indicates friction. And I would immediately go to the data booklet and just copy down the friction formula because we're going to need it later. The angle is 25 degrees, steady speed, and we'll assume a straight line. That tells us the force is balanced. So in all directions, the sum of the forces equals 0. So we want to know the value of F that will enable the load to move at constant speed. And the frictional force is 470 newtons. So it says calculate the value of F that will enable the load to move at constant speed. So let's draw a force diagram. We have F, we have mg, which is the weight. We have the reaction force. We have F cosine theta. We have F sine theta. And we have the friction force going backwards. So let's set up the horizontal equation. F cosine theta minus the friction, they balance to equal 0. And let's just see if maybe we can get away without doing the vertical equation. Always start simple before you try to do too much. So we have F times the cosine of 25 minus the friction force of 470 equals 0. And we have F is 470 divided by the cosine of 25. And so we actually can get away with it. And so we end up getting a 520 Newton force. All right. Now for the second part, we have a bicyclist and a cyclist traveling at constant velocity on a horizontal road. We want the value of the net force acting on the cyclist. Constant velocity. That means the net force is 0. And let's draw a force diagram acting on the bicycle. So, and this is the forces acting, the vertical forces acting on the bicycle. So we're going to have the reaction force from the ground. We're going to have the weight of the bicycle, and I would also add one more, which is the normal force of the person on the bike. So the weight of the bike due to the earth. And we have this reaction force, technically speaking, because they asked specifically for the bicycle. Now, with reference to the horizontal forces acting on the system, explain about the system acting at constant velocity. Well, what's happening is we have the force of pedaling is balanced by the force of friction. And so we end up getting that as the force. That's how they balance.